Mike Vrabel is officially the head coach with the New England Patriots, and this is a very good move if you are a Patriots fan. They fired Jerod Mayo after just one season, but there's still a lot of work to be done with this roster. I think it's pretty much safe to say that Mike Vrabel is going into a very interesting situation with the Patriots because of Drake Maye. When you look at the situation with the Tennessee Titans, over the last few years, the Tennessee Titans, they have been one of the top tier teams in the NFL. But at the beginning point with Mike Vrabel, they had a lot of good seasons. They just couldn't get over the hump in the postseason. And Mike Vrabel posted a 2-2 record with the Tennessee Titans, and he had Ryan Tannehill as his quarterback. You can say what you want to say about Ryan Tannehill. You can say that he's not a top 10 quarterback, and he never was. But Ryan Tannehill was decent enough with the Titans, especially when he was able to hand the football off to Derrick Henry and work off of play action and get the football to A.J. Brown. They had very good talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball and on the offensive side of the ball with their offensive line. At the beginning point of his tenure with the Tennessee Titans, the offensive line was very good. And it gave Derrick Henry a lot of opportunities to go out there and run the football and let him be one of the most dominant running backs in the league. And he still is with the Baltimore Ravens. But you're going to have to put that talent around Drake Maye. In order for Drake Maye to have true success in this league, you have to put this kid into a good situation. We saw this with Bill Belichick over the last few years. Bill Belichick's going to go down as the best Patriot coach of all time. 6 Super Bowls won, one of the best coaches in league's history with everything that he was able to do with Tom Brady. The problem with Bill Belichick was this towards the end of his tenure. He could not select that offensive talent in the NFL draft. And he put Mac Jones in a bad situation. Now, Mac Jones was a bad quarterback, yes, but Bill Belichick had that man being coached up by Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, a defensive coordinator in Matt Patricia, a special teams coach in Joe Judge. That is not going to help you out. That's not going to help out a quarterback in his second year. So you have to go out there and put the right coaches around Drake Maye. Hopefully Mike Vrabel can be that coach long term. His record with the Titans was 54-45 for a reason. And he really overachieved with that team. He got that team to overachieve with Ryan Tannehill. Yes, you had A.J. Brown. Yes, you had Derrick Henry. But you also had Julio Jones, who was not the same player that he once was with the Atlanta Falcons. So it's going to take some time here. But bringing in the right pieces and the right coaching can take a quarterback a long ways in this league. And it brings up this entire situation here. It's been a lot of rumors. It was a lot of rumors that Mike Vrabel was eventually going to be the head coach after they fired Coach Mayo. There's a lot of rumors right now that Mike Vrabel may bring over Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels, as a head coach, I couldn't stand him. He was a terrible head coach with the Raiders. He did not have that much success with the Denver Broncos. Everywhere that he has been, without the Patriots, without Tom Brady, without Bill Belichick, he has been the same coach. But I will say this, as an offensive coach, he's one of the best offensive minds that I've seen. He did great work with Tom Brady. We can give Tom Brady a lot of credit, but Josh McDaniels, he was calling the play calls. And he also had a very good year with Mac Jones. They made the NFL playoffs. Mac Jones had his best year of his career underneath Josh McDaniels. So I believe that Josh McDaniels could come in with Mike Vrabel and he will help out Drake Maye. Drake Maye right now, he's struggling with a lot of things. He has one of the worst offensive lines in the league. You can make the case that this is the worst offensive line. They can't run block. They can't pass protect. Now, their offensive line has been banged up all season long, but even when they were fully healthy, the offensive line just was never going to be good with guys like Vidarian Lowe. And to his credit, he was a late round pick for a reason. He gives you a lot of effort. He's not a good tackle. And you have Jacobs at the right tackle position. You have 2 tackles that aren't good. You have to go into the first round if Travis Hunter is not available and select the best tackle. And then go into free agency and bring in some wide receiving talent like a T. Higgins. You could say Stephon Diggs, but at the same time, Stephon Diggs is coming off a torn ACL injury. Will he be the same wide receiver? You have decent talent on this team, but they need to bring in a true offensive coach that can help develop Drake Maye and fix the infrastructure on the offensive side of the ball. Because Bill Belichick was definitely missing the mark by going out there and drafting 2 tight ends who are no longer in this league, and going out there and bringing in Hunter Henry and bringing in Jonnu Smith. Hunter Henry was a very good signing, but he's dealt with injuries in the past. Jonnu Smith was not a good player with the Patriots. Once again, bad offensive coaching. You look at him now with the Miami Dolphins, better situation. But look at him. He's a top receiving tight end. Even last season with the Atlanta Falcons, he was a solid receiving tight end. So that's why coaching is so important with the Patriots right now, and that's why they moved off of Coach Mayo. I believe that Robert Kraft had a lot of concerns with Coach Mayo, and that's why he let him go after one season. Obviously, that was the case. That's why he's no longer the head coach with this team. But I look at Drake Maye, 15 passing touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Those are not great numbers. But when you go back and you watch him on film, he did a lot of good things inside the pocket. And he was able to move around. He has very good athleticism. A lot of scouts compared him to Josh Allen. I'm not going to compare him to Josh Allen. I believe that he will be the first ever Drake Maye. He did miss some throws going deep down the field, but that's going to come with some time. He's a rookie. Give him time to go out there, let him get his feet underneath him, and give him a full offseason to develop in a brand new system, hopefully with a guy like Josh McDaniels, and put that elite talent around him if you can. They did let Jacoby Brissett go out there and start a couple of games. I don't disagree with that move. I believe that move was smart. If it was me personally, you wouldn't have gotten a chance to see Drake Maye this season because the offensive talent was so bad and the offensive line was so terrible. Sure, Jacoby Brissett is a terrible quarterback, but at the same time, this Patriots team, with or without Drake Maye, they weren't going to make the playoffs this year. You went 4-13 last season for a reason, and you went 4-13 this season, because the talent is not good enough on the offensive side of the ball. I look at Ramondre Stevenson. This is a very good running back, but he has a fumbling problem. That's the only problem with Ramondre Stevenson. He runs hard. He gives you a lot of effort. He can catch the football out of the backfield. He just fumbles the football too much. And unfortunately for him, if he can't figure this out, they're going to move on from him. And he just signed a contract extension. And it's very possible that they may move off of him sooner than later. You can find you a running back in the NFL draft later in the NFL draft. We've seen this many, many times through the history of this league. I want Ramondre Stevenson to pan out in the past. He's been a very good running back when he didn't have a fumbling issue. But he can go out there and give you 4 to 5 yards a carry. But putting the football on the ground for a running back on a consistent basis, that's a death sentence in this league. That is how you get put out of the NFL. So he needs to work on his carrying. And that's also one of those things we're going to talk about later in this video when I talk about Coach Mayo and why they moved on from him. You have Demario Douglas, who's a number 2 wide receiver at best. He's not a true number 1. He is their best wide receiver right now. You don't go out there, you don't move on from a guy, Demario Douglas. I like Demario Douglas a lot, and I like his game. He has 621 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns. He averaged 10 yards a catch. Kendrick Bourne has not been the same wide receiver that he once was. Before he tore his ACL, he was a very good option. And he played that one season with Josh McDaniels. But I believe that they will move on from Kendrick Bourne. You can just put some better wide receiver talent out there for Drake Maye. And I'm giving Bill Belichick a lot of flack right now. This year's draft class has not been off to a hot start. Drake Maye, phenomenal pick. I believe that he's going to be a franchise quarterback. Elliott Wolf, brand new general manager. Give him some time also. You had Javon Baker, a wide receiver that you selected this year's draft class, and Jalen Polk. Neither one of these guys have panned out just yet. And when you see what Ladd McConkey has been able to do with the Los Angeles Chargers, you scratch your head. This is why Robert Kraft went out there this week, and that's why he brought in some more executives in that front office to help Elliott Wolf make those tough decisions. Even though he will have final say-so as a general manager in terms of going out there and drafting the right pieces, those executives can help you. Because Elliott Wolf, he's just a couple drafts away from being fired with this organization. Robert Kraft wants to win right now, especially with the quarterback that he has. They just selected the quarterback in the first round a few years ago in Mac Jones, and look at how bad that ended because of poor drafting skills, because of the lack of talent around him, and because of the wrong coaching with Matt Patricia and also with Joe Judge. Robert Kraft is not going to let that happen to Drake Maye. That's why he moved off of Coach Mayo after one season. He wants to put this kid in the best situation possible. He wants to go out there and win. The Patriots just controlled the NFL over the last 2 decades with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They won 6 Super Bowls in this era of football. Not in the 2020s, but in the early 2000s and the 2010s, they ran this league. And Robert Kraft is still around. He wants to see this team go out there and win. I'm not saying that Drake Maye is going to be the next Tom Brady and Mike Vrabel is the next Bill Belichick. I believe that that's a once-in-a-lifetime situation. But you can go out there and be competitive. Right now, the Patriots are not competitive enough. 4-13 is not the standard for this organization. And selecting quarterbacks in the first round in back-to-back years, it seems like in the last few years, that's not going to get it done. And it's not in back-to-back years. I understand they selected Mac Jones a few years ago, but it seems like that you selected quarterbacks in the first round back-to-back. Mac Jones is right now still in that rookie deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's a backup. And you have this guy in Drake Maye. You have to develop him. He has to pan out because you don't want to be in this situation anymore. So bringing in the right talent, the right wide receivers, and the right coaching should put you into the right situation. When I look at the defense for the Patriots, they have very good defensive players. Some of their best players on this team are on their defense. When I look at Christian Gonzalez, he's a top cornerback in this league. He's phenomenal. He did suffer a season-ending injury last year against the Dallas Cowboys, but before he suffered that injury, he was a top-rated cornerback in the NFL. And we saw that this year. He's a top 3 cornerback right now. The kid's phenomenal. They hit on him in the first round. And that's the thing with Bill Belichick. You can say a lot of bad things about drafting the offensive players in the high rounds. When he drafted the defensive players, he got it right. And Christian Gonzalez is one of them. Christian Barmore is another one. Now, Christian Barmore missed majority of this season dealing with blood clots, but he signed a contract extension for a reason. He's a phenomenal defensive lineman. 8.5 sacks when he was last able to give you a full season. And I can see it right now. Him and Mike Vrabel, with the way that Mike Vrabel is able to go out there and make defensive adjustments, move guys around on the defensive line, it's going to be great to see. It's going to be a very interesting tale to see if he can have over double-digit sacks in the season. Because when you have Christian Barmore on the field, the New England Patriots have one of the best rushing defenses in this league. And it's not even close. And then you look at Keion White. Very good pass rusher. He's already getting double teamed. As soon as Christian Barmore went down, we saw that Keion White was not able to come off the edge the same way that he has been throughout his career so far with the Patriots. And you obviously traded Matthew Judon before the season started because he had a lot of disagreements with Jerod Mayo. That was a very good move. He's not the same pass rusher that he once was a couple of years ago. When you had him, you had Josh Uche. And moving on from Josh Uche was also a very good move for the Patriots. You get a draft pick from the Kansas City Chiefs. He hasn't been the same pass rusher either. So you are dealing with pass rushing issues, but you do still have Christian Barmore if he can return back to the field, if those blood clot issues can leave him alone. And you have Keion White, and you have a very good secondary. When I look at the linebackers, you're solid there. Jawan Bentley missed majority of this year, and Jawan Bentley is a very good linebacker. You can make the case that he's the best interior linebacker. In my opinion, he is. You have Jonathan Jones at the cornerback position alongside Christian Gonzalez. You have Kyle Duggar. Kyle Duggar is solid. He's a very good player. And you have Jabril Peppers. Now, Jabril Peppers missed majority of this season dealing with an injury. And while he was dealing with the injury, it was a domestic violence case that popped up. You know how the NFL works. They're going to put you on the exempt list. Until they can figure out what's going on, you're not going to play. And once they figure everything out with Jabril Peppers, he was able to return back to the field, but he missed the majority of this season. So their defense, even though it was bad this year, they have very good defensive talent. And I know that Coach Mayo got a bad rep because of the things that he said in the media. He lost the locker room. But the defense, given with the talent that he was dealing with, they looked solid at times. He did the best that he could with this defense. And this brings everything over to the Jerod Mayo situation. I do want to speak on this, and this will be my last time speaking on Jerod Mayo and the Patriots. Some Patriot fans feel like they did him dirty. Some Patriot fans, they couldn't stand Jerod Mayo. I love when a player can go out there and they can be a head coach in this league. I'm a sucker for it. You can listen to the other videos. I love it. That's why I'm hyped up for this move with Mike Vrabel. He's a former Patriots linebacker. He's in the Patriots Hall of Fame. Jerod Mayo, very good linebacker for the Patriots. Solid linebacker. Very good defensive mind as a linebackers coach. He got a lot of praise for holding those defensive meetings. Those players, they were hyped up to have him as a linebackers coach. The problem was this. He was never a defensive coordinator in this league. He did not have enough coaching experience underneath his belt. And we saw this in the first month of the season. Yes, they beat the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1. That was a very good win for Jerod Mayo. That was his first win as a head coach this season. And he was able to make a lot of good defensive adjustments early on. But as the season weighed on and as the season moved on, he didn't look the same. And we saw him go into the media and he'll speak about Ramondre Stevenson and his fumbling issue. Well, we're not going to start him next week. We're going to go with Antonio Gibson. And he'll go out there and he will start Ramondre Stevenson the next game. After a tough loss on a Sunday or a Thursday, he'll come right out into the press conference. He'll talk about the players, throw them underneath the bus. But man, we're just soft right now. We're not playing good enough. They need to play better. I can only do so much as a coach. Even though that is true, you can't say that as a head coach. Bill Belichick was not the nicest guy to the media, but he did not throw his players underneath the bus. He did not throw his coordinators underneath the bus. It was an opportunity to run the football with Drake Maye against the Arizona Cardinals, to pick up some yards, to just put you in a scoring position. And you had a woman, she came out, it was a reporter, she asked him, why not run Drake Maye in this situation? Guess what this man, Jerod Mayo, came out and said? You're asking me that question, I'm asking the same thing. Why not run him in that situation? You can't say those type of things and throw your coaches underneath the bus. And then he will come out on a radio station in Boston the next day and he'll walk it back. And he'll say, well, I didn't mean what I said. You know, we're just in a tough situation. Right now we're dealing with a lot of injuries. Why not say that Sunday after the loss? Why not say that Thursday after the loss? Why throw your coaches underneath the bus? You can't do that. So yes, he lost the locker room. The Patriot fans, they were done with him. They didn't have a clear game plan every single week. And Robert Kraft, he said he felt bad about how they did Coach Mayo because they did put him in a tough situation. First of all, the talent wasn't there, and the talent is still not there right now as I record this video. You went 4-13 with Coach Mayo. You went 4-13 with Bill Belichick. I want to come on here and I want to defend Coach Mayo. He did a lot of bad things and the talent was not there, but he was not ready to be a head coach just yet. Maybe in the future, he can be a head coach. He could be a successful one. I've seen it before. Some guys go out there, they're terrible head coaches in the first or second stint, and then the next thing you know, they become great head coaches. Bill Belichick is one of them. He had a tough career in the NFL before Tom Brady came along. It happens. And I'm not trying to compare Jerod Mayo to Bill Belichick. But there is a place for Jerod Mayo in this league as a position coach right now, as a linebackers coach. And then you work your way up, you become a defensive coordinator, and then hopefully the next time he's a head coach, he can be better off if he becomes a head coach ever again. But I believe that Mike Vrabel right now, with the coaching experience that he has, and he has more coaching experience than Jerod Mayo, he'll be a better fit. And you couldn't have Jerod Mayo go out there and develop Drake Maye long term. If you did not have that confidence in him, you move on from him. And that's what Robert Kraft did. I know that a lot of Patriots fans, they're happy about this move. And for the ones that are saying they did Coach Mayo dirty, you can make the case that they did. They handpicked him over the last few years. Many people thought that Josh McDaniels was going to go out there. They thought that he was going to be the head coach after Bill Belichick. That was the plan, but he walked away. He went to the Las Vegas Raiders, and it put Bill Belichick in a hole. That's why he went out there, and that's why he had Matt Patricia and Joe Judge competing to call plays on the offensive end with Mac Jones. They were not prepared. When he walked away, they had to pick someone, so they picked Jerod Mayo. And they thought that he was going to be a better head coach in his first year, but he wasn't. And I also stand on this point. If Mike Vrabel was not available to be a head coach, they wouldn't have moved on from Jerod Mayo. I think that Robert Kraft would have went out there. He would have put more pieces around Jerod Mayo. He would have let him have more say-so in free agency, the same way that he did with Bill Belichick. Robert Kraft strikes me as a hands-off owner. That's what he did with Bill Belichick. Even in the early years when they had Drew Bledsoe, he was hands-off. He let Bill Belichick go out there and run the show. Go get the offensive talent. And when Bill Belichick had more success with Tom Brady, Bill Belichick became more of an authority figure with the Patriots organization. Robert Kraft likes to be hands-off. He likes to see the coaches go out there and be the general manager, let the general manager go out there and let them do their jobs. And he just stands back. If the team struggles here and there, then he'll have some say-so. Other than that, I like Robert Kraft as an owner. That may be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I like the Kraft family. You don't win 6 Super Bowls by accident. That's impressive. That is tied for the most in this league with the Steelers. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about the New England Patriots, and are you excited about the hire with Mike Vrabel? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless.